I knew it.
I was giggling, I was kicking my feet, I was laughing with the characters. I've been trying to do this up.
I'm having so much fun. I am loving it. Right now, my two brain cells, they're rubbing together, but nothing's happening.
Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Laurie. If you're new here, I am a fantasy and fantasy romance reader. And today we have another reading vlog. I thought it'd be really interesting to read new to me authors because although I'm trying to go down on my TBR, finish book series that I'm in the middle of, I just have so many new books that have come in the last couple months that I haven't read yet, that are from authors that are new to me. I've been playing with the idea of doing a dedicated reading vlog to reading new to me authors. I have so many that is on the top of my mind that I really want to get to. So I think our first book for this reading vlog is going to be Smoke and Scar by Gretchen Powell Fox. I discovered this author because I found out she was being picked up traditionally, and then I saw the indie covers and I was like, this is too beautiful not to pick up. So I did, and to be honest, I love hardcovers. I'm a hardcover girly, and typically when traditional publishers pick up indie authors, they do tend to come up with paperbacks for the release rather than hardcovers. We do have occasionally the hardcover release, but I found that more often than not it is paperback, and I really wanted hardbacks. So I picked up the indie editions of these books and they have been staring at me for the longest time. I also have two e-arcs that I was gifted by a publisher. It's Dragon Cursed by Elise Kova and Rings of Fate by, I'll put the cover here. Rings of Fate is a new to me author. Elise Kova is not, but I think I'm going to read simultaneously Rings of Fate, but it is on my phone, the PDF, and I don't really like reading on my phone, so I figured that book is probably going to take me a little bit longer. So I'm going to start that one on my phone, but in this reading vlog I will be reading Smoke and Scar, but I will also give updates to Rings of Fate and how it's going and what it, how I'm liking it and the new author. So we have these two books. I'm really excited for both. I've heard really good things about this book. I've heard semi good things from Rings of Fate. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it, but the premise sounds really interesting. So I think once I get part way through it, if I really enjoy it, I might pick up the hardcover, even though I'm on a book buying bad, but we're not going to talk about that. So I will give an update when I'm some way the way through both. It's time for a reading update on reading new authors. I now have a physical copy of Rings of Fate. I read 50 or 60 pages on my phone and I decided I actually really liked it. So I picked up a physical copy. I am now 173 pages in and I have to say, I'm enjoying it. It's a really fun, good time. It's not anything too serious. It's not anything I'm too not obsessed by, but really, really, when you become really attached to the characters and everything they're going through, you become really absorbed and it affects you. And I'm not like that with this story. It's something that's more disconnected, but not in a bad way. It just feels like I can just really enjoy the story. I can relax. And if anything, it kind of feels like a palate cleanser to me from really serious emotional reads that I have been reading. I'm in the middle of my Legacy series read and it's a really emotional, it's a dark romantasy, so it can get pretty hard in certain points. So it's really nice to read this in the middle of that to kind of just distance myself from that dark romantasy and just have something a little bit more lighthearted and fun. And this is definitely that. It's not 5-star. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's nothing like, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever read. But I'm having a fun, good time. It's interesting. I'm enjoying reading it. And I think the world building, the plot and the characters are really well developed and I'm really liking their dynamic and their interactions and being both their minds. It's so funny because they both have no idea what the others is feeling and they're just trying so hard to put up this front and they just want to be seen. So it's very interesting and it's kind of relatable. It's very relatable. But yeah, surprisingly really enjoying this. I actually had no idea what this was about before picking it up, but now I do. We're following a prince and a barmaid. This barmaid has just been the center of her family. She puts her family first, she puts herself second, and all she wants is the best for her twin sisters. So when she's getting ready to set them up for their life so that she can be free and travel and just be herself, because she's never felt seen, she's always felt like people wanted her to use her and never really saw her for her or wanted her for herself. And she comes across a prince who's traveling around her country trying to find a bride because of the accords, and there's kind of an instant chemistry, but she is very hesitant. She's determined to ignore it because she just thinks he's going to be another one that uses her. And yeah, it's very interesting, the dynamic. There's a lot about the prince that you kind of get introduced to, and it answers a lot of questions about him. So yeah, so far so good. Really enjoying this. I'm almost 50% of the way through. I'm planning on finishing this week and then picking up Smoke and Scar. I have picked up Smoke and Scar already. I'm 50 pages in, but I can't read 3 books at the same time. So I decided to temporarily put this to the side, finish this, and then I can get back to this. This is, so far, I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm liking the world. I'm liking this character, this FMC. I do think this has the potential to be a 5-star, but I'm only 50 pages in, so I can't really make that assumption just yet, but I'm having good feelings, I'm having good vibes. So that's that for this one. Just gonna put this aside and concentrate on Rings of Fate and see how this ends, because I'm very intrigued, but I'm not like dying to pick this up. It's just when I'm at the end of the night, I pick this up, I read this, I'm having a good time. I'm not distracted by anything else. I'm absorbed by the story and the characters. So yeah, don't know what my rating's going to be yet. I'm liking the way this author writes. It's just not my typical romantasy that I would pick up. So I'm liking that it's a little bit different, even if it's not 5-star. So that is the update for Rings of Fate. It's time for an update. I have finished Rings of Fate and I enjoyed it. It's hard to put into words how I feel because I have ended up giving this a 3-star rating, and I think the time I read this was the perfect time to read this. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much if I'd read it at any other time. This was a very light-hearted, fun adventure, and the plot was really well detailed, really easy to imagine, really easy to fall into, and I really enjoyed the dynamic between the characters. And yeah, it just felt like something I didn't have to take too seriously. I wasn't super attached to the plot of the characters, so what was happening to them wasn't really impacting me. And I really needed that. I'm in the middle of my Legacy series, and that is a dark romantasy. And every time something happens with the characters, I get really hard by it. It's a very emotional read, and sometimes really hard to wade through. And so having something more lighthearted to read made it easier to kind of break away from the Legacy series and get into this, and I just found that I was enjoying this more because of that. This isn't a typical romantasy that I would pick up. I prefer something with more high stakes, more detailed plot, but I enjoyed myself. It was a 3-star. I think this is perfect if you're in the middle of dark romance and you want something lighthearted, easy to fall into, enjoyable, but not overly attachable, I guess is the word I want to say. That's pretty much all I have to say. I don't really have all that much to say about it. I don't feel anything overly, well, I don't feel anything about this book. It was just something I read and enjoyed, and it was a nice break from what I was currently reading. Now, with this over, I am finally going to dive into Smoke and Scar. I'm still 50 pages in from the last time I gave you an update about this book, but now that I finished this, I can fully concentrate on Smoke and Scar and dive into this, and I'm really looking forward to it because, like I said, I'm really interested by the dynamic of a human male main character and a fae female, and the main character in this seems to have a lot of issues, a lot of residual trauma from the war that she participated in, and is just struggling with a lot of things in her life. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think she is going to join the Crucible, which is like these trials, and if you win, I think it determines the ruler of their land, which is why the humans are going into the Crucible as well, because they want to be able to rule the land, they want to be able to have a say. They aren't friends of the Fae. They seem to be a very big divide between the two. So they're both joining the Crucible for very different reasons. She's joining it to protect someone she cares about, and he's doing it to become a ruler of the land and set the humans up for a better life. So yeah, that's all I know so far. I'm really looking forward to falling into this and giving it its due. So I will give an update when I'm somewhat through this.
I knew it. I mean, I didn't know it like this. I didn't know this was how it was going to come about and this is what it meant. But I knew there was something. I can't say what I want to say because I really, really don't want to spoil it, because I think it's such a huge plot twist, but it's like something slowly that you start to have an inkling of, and you're like trying to put the clues together, and it's like, what does this mean? Is this what I mean it is, or am I reading too much into it? But I didn't read too much into it. I was right, and I don't know what this means.
Okay, it's time for a reading update. I have finally finished Smoke and Scar by Gretchen Powell Fox. I was so locked in past the 70% mark. Things were being thrown at me, things I didn't see coming. Some things I suspected, but I had no idea what it was. Like, I had an inkling about something not being right, and then I was proven right, but then it was also not in the way I was expecting or in the realm of the possibilities of what it could be. And I just felt like this is a book that kept me guessing, kept me hooked. I really love the characters. I really love the dynamic. I really, really love the dynamic of a Fae female who is hundreds of years old and then a human male. There are different motivations for entering the trials, the trauma that this character is suffering from, and just how powerful she is. Well, he's not that powerful. It was a very, very interesting dynamic. I've never read anything like that before, and I loved it. So definitely will be continuing the series. I think I'm settling with a 4-star rating. It didn't give me that overwhelming 5-star feeling, but I definitely was very intrigued. I was hooked. I was giggling. I was kicking my feet. I was laughing with the characters. I was just having the best time, and I definitely think this is a series that you should read as a romantasy reader, as a fantasy romance reader. It's a lot of fun. It's a plot that just keeps ever expanding. There are a lot of plot twists that come that you don't really see coming but may suspect, and I'm really, really interesting. I do think that the second book may potentially be the 5-star for me, so I'm really, really looking forward to reading that. But in the keeping of reading new authors that are new to me, reading new books that are by new authors to me, does that make sense? Something like that. I won't be picking up book 2 in this reading vlog, but I will be picking up book 2 very soon, because I do tend to binge books in a series. Just for this occasion I won't be able to, but I definitely will be reading it very soon. But the next book I'm picking up is The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. This is perfect because this is also my February TBR. I have been wanting to pick this up for the longest time. I love a book that's based on Greek mythology, based on any mythology to be quite honest, and I've been dying to pick this up. So this is a perfect opportunity. I have a feeling that this is a book I'm going to absolutely binge. It gives me that feeling. So I'm really, really excited. Book 2's already out. I think book 3 is coming out soon. So our next and potentially final book for this reading vlog is The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen, and I am just beaming with excitement. So I will give an update when I'm somewhat through this, but I have a feeling this is a 5-star read. So let's see how this goes.
246 pages into The Games Gods Play. I started this yesterday. I'm having so much fun. I am loving it. I'm loving this twist on the Greek mythology. I love how there's other gods involved from multiple mythologies. You don't really see them, but you know that they're there, that they're in that world and they exist. The world building is so vivid and captivating, and the plot is tense and nail biting, and I'm loving this so much. Do I feel like it's a 5-star? Not yet. I feel like it's a 4.5. If I was one of those like nail like to the digit, 4.75, like so close to 5-star. I am just like, makes me feel like buttery inside. Just, I love this. I knew I was gonna love it. I have already ordered book 2 because there's no way I'm not picking book 2 up as soon as I finish this, which, considering that I bought it today, I should have bought it yesterday, but I'm so excited. I'm loving this. I think this deserves so much more hype. I know that this book was pre-talked about, but it wasn't like overly hyped. It wasn't really rated that highly. And I didn't really hear people talking about it with so much excitement. I am feeling so much excitement. I don't want to go to sleep tonight. I just want to read this book. So we're going to see how far I can get before I have to be responsible and go to sleep, which is supposed to be in 20 minutes. But that's not likely to happen. So if I can get to bed by midnight, still not great, but I don't really see any choice. Just finished God's Play, and I need to put my thoughts out before I go to sleep because I feel like I'm gonna forget. But this was so good. I had the best time with this. This was just so much fun. I don't know how else to explain it. This was full of tension and thick with plot, and the trial element had me on the edge of my seat. But I will say this still doesn't feel like a 5-star. The plot twist that came didn't hit that hard for me. I didn't feel like I was gasping or jaw dropped, even though they were outrageous and they were like hard-hitting plot twists. But I think that's where the 5-star would have come from if I felt really hit hard by that and I was really just affected by those plot twists, but I wasn't. I was expecting other things to happen in that plot twist. I knew plot twist was going to come and I knew it was going to hurt, but I wasn't expecting that. So when that did happen, because it felt lesser than what I was thinking in my head that would have been worse, it didn't affect me so much. And there was also another plot twist that happened before the ending with the FMC that I didn't really see coming and I didn't really understand, because it was like there was bits to that wasn't properly explained or explored as to how it was a possibility, what it meant for, and how it affects everything, and then how obviously that didn't affect the next thing that happened, and then next. So it was just kind of like a trigger effect where it didn't feel that believable, but it still worked. It just I felt like if it had been explained properly and expanded upon, I think it would have worked other aspects. But I really loved it. The romance in here is delicious, tension filled, really keeps you on your toes. You never really understand what the other person is thinking, and I am so excited for book 2. Towards the end, I was confused at how English. I'm so tired. Towards the end, I was very confused as to how there was going to be a plot for the second book. And I was thinking maybe this is interconnected standalones, because I don't really understand. This feels like an open and shut book. But obviously, the last couple pages definitely made it obvious as to what the plot for the next book is. So I'm very, very intrigued. I have no idea what this means for anything and how it's going to be resolved. So I'm really looking forward to book 2. I'm really hoping it comes soon. But yeah, this was amazing. For 4.5, I had the best time. But a more coherent review coming tomorrow when I feel more awake and alert, because right now my two brain cells, they're rubbing together but nothing's happening.
This has been such an interesting reading vlog. Trying to pick up authors that I've never read from before has had very mixed results. I ended up really enjoying this reading vlog. It felt like it was at the perfect time for some of these reads, and I ended up discovering a book that I can't stop thinking about and has genuinely been the star of the show. So I have read Rings of Fate by Melissa de la Cruz. This was a 3-star read. This was at the perfect time in between dark fantasy romances. I had a really fun time with this. It was lighthearted, easy to get into, and I would recommend, if you're looking for a palette cleanser, something that doesn't require too much, like if you just want something that doesn't require you to really concentrate, that you can just really fall into really easily, love the characters, be intrigued by the plot, I think this is a perfect read. It's nothing outstanding, it's nothing crazy, but it's a good fun time. Next, I read Smoke and Scar by Gretchen Power Fox. I was really excited about this one, and I really did enjoy it. I think I ended up rating this a 4.4 star because the trials element was really interesting, but I didn't feel overly attached to the characters. I felt like I was outside of everything that was happening, and I know obviously I am outside of everything that's happening because I'm a reader, but when I read, I feel like I'm right there alongside the characters. I'm going through what they're going through, where in this one I felt like I was overwatching everything and I didn't feel overly attached to what's happening. None of the plot twists hit really hard. Some of them were very like wow, but I didn't feel like I had like an outrageous reaction that completely blew me away. So it definitely wasn't a 5-star read. Will I be finishing the series? Yes, because I'm very intrigued by the plot. I'm very intrigued with where it's going, and I'm enjoying the characters in the world very much. And again, I'm really enjoying the dynamic between these two characters, and I want to see where it goes. So I will be continuing, but it didn't blow me away, but I did still have a very good time. Now, The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. You would have seen my reactions. This one truly did blow me away. I could not stop smiling and just feeling so much while I was reading this. This is everything I love from a romantasy and the way it makes me feel. And I think this was such an interesting twist on Greek mythology. It wasn't doing anything, it wasn't changing Greek mythology, but I really loved how the world included other mythologies and other gods, and they were all existing in the same place and they all had interactions with each other. Did we see them? No, but we know that they exist. We know that they have interactions with other gods, with other humans, and that they exist in different parts of the world. And I think that's so interesting, and I'm really hoping we get to see more details in book 2, which is on its way, and I'm so excited to read as soon as it gets here. I just had the best time. I loved this. This was everything I wanted and more. I was really hoping I wasn't putting too much hope, I guess, too much hype into this book, and then it was going to let me down. This did not let me down. I loved this so much. This was so good. The plot was intriguing and had me on the edge of my seat, and the trials really got me going. I really had no idea how she was going to get out of this, and it wasn't like she's a chosen one and she's going to win every trials. No, the trials were hard. She worked hard. She got through it. She was herself, and it wasn't like she has hidden powers and all that stuff. It just really was true to the character, realistic, and just really kept you hooked, and I loved it. So I highly recommend picking this up, especially if you love mythology based books, especially if you love gods being really at the forefront of a plot, that there are trials and intrigue and tension, so much freaking tension, and relationships being formed and cute little side characters, and it's just, yeah, this was phenomenal, and I really recommend it. But that is it for this reading vlog. I really hope you enjoyed something a little bit different and discovering new authors with me, and I really hope maybe some of these got added to your TBR or books to watch out for. Please comment what book you are most intrigued to try. Please like and subscribe. You can find me on all socials as LaurieReadz, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.